First of all, so welcome. Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining me on the planet. My name is June Allen and I'm the founder of The Art of Greatness at juneallen.net. So I am a racial trauma therapist, I'm a business coach, and I'm also a retreat facilitator. So today I wanted to jump on and answer a question. Somebody asked me a question in the comments when I did a live stream yesterday about what is the difference between healing and growth. Okay, what is the difference between healing and growth? Hi Lydia, I've just sent you a message actually, just literally before I came on this live stream. So check your messages. But yeah, so God's totally on. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a racial trauma therapist, I'm a business coach, and I'm a retreat facilitator. And yeah, so somebody was asking me a question about what's the difference between healing and growth. So I thought, you know what, instead of just responding directly to this person, I thought I'd come on and just do a quick live just to answer the question. But before I get into that, I just wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping. So not this Saturday, next Saturday, the 15th of April, I have got a racial wellness workshop that I'm doing. It's a half-day retreat. It's 2 workshops, and it's all about your self-care, but with a cultural context. What is racial wellness? Are you practicing cultural nourishment? What does it even mean? How do I do it? How do I do my daily practice? How do I stop feeling guilty about taking time for myself as a black woman? All that sort of stuff. So we're going to be looking at all of that stuff in the first bit, and then in the second workshop, we are going to be building a vision board. So when I do these retreats, I like to do something a little bit creative in the afternoon, because sometimes doing this work can be quite intense, and sometimes we talk about subjects that are quite, they're quite heavy, they're quite intense stuff that we talk about. So it's always nice. I always try to do something a little bit lighter in the afternoon, that's that's where we can talk to each other, that's a bit more social, there's a little bit more, there's just a little bit more gentler. When I did the mother wound one a couple months ago, in the afternoon we made body scrub, and that was really nice. It was really simple, really easy to make, and it was just an opportunity for us to play a little bit. It also gives, I like it because it also creates something for you inner child to kind of, to do, whether we, instead of talking about all the deep stuff. So this, in this one, we're going to be making a vision board, so you'll have the opportunity to, to step into something, and give yourself hope, give yourself something to work towards. So that's next Saturday. Okay, so I'm doing an Easter special this weekend. Okay, today is the last day for the Easter special, so you need to jump on it. It closes at midnight tonight, and the tickets are on offer at £30 as opposed to £60. Okay, so click the link in my bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net if you want to join us next week for that, next Saturday. Okay, it's 9:30 till 1:30. It's in person as well. It's not online, it's in person. So if you live in London or you want to come down for it, it'd be great to see you. It's already what's nice about this is that it's at the people that I've seen before that come to the events. I sort of bought tickets as well, so it's nice to kind of continue that relationship and start to build that relationship. And there'll be other sisters as well. Some of the sisters in my mastermind will also be coming, which would be great. So yeah, so if you're around and you fancy it, come down. It'd be lovely to see you. Right, so let's get to the topic. So what's the difference between healing and growth? Now I had to sit and think for a minute. What's the difference? Because I thought to myself, I hadn't really thought about it before. What's the difference between the two? So I had to really think about it myself. And there is a difference, actually. There is a difference. So the difference between healing and growth is that one is the process, okay, and the other one is the outcome, okay, the shifts that happen. So the healing, okay, is about the steps. It's about the habits that you have, okay, the wellness habits, the nurturing, the going to therapy, the going to recovery meetings, the going to your support group. It's all of that stuff, the habits that you do on a daily basis that are going to help you to implement change. Because just reading a lot, this here's something that happens, like what I see quite a lot in the black community, or we as a community do. A lot of people read a lot of stuff. They read a lot of books, and there's nothing wrong with reading, but a lot of people don't implement. Okay, so what happens is people think that just because you've read something that you've actually done the work. You haven't done the work just because you've read the book. Collecting information is not healing. Okay, collecting information is just that. It's just healing. You're not actually doing the work. So what you need to be doing is you need to be implementing. Okay, you need to be implementing what you're reading. One of the reasons why, because I've got an online mastermind group, which is kind of like a book club. But I don't call it a book club because a lot of people think when you just doing a book club, you just read the book and having a discussion about it. And that's not how I do my book club. The reason why my books take a long time for us to get through it is because we do read the book in the session, but we unpack it. We unpack it. We don't just have a discussion about it. Sometimes we'll pause the reading, and I might do a masterclass on the topic that comes up if the ladies are feeling some sort of type of way, and they might say, oh, I don't really understand that bit. Can you just break it down for us a little bit more? So I will take different topics that are in the book, and maybe the book doesn't always explain it as deeply as it is. Sometimes the books that we read are not written by therapists, so as a therapist I want to be able to unpack it for my clients so that they can understand it even deeper. And so then the process of reading the book then becomes an embodied experience, so people then begin to understand what's going on. At the moment we're actually reading The Black Woman Millionaire by Dr. Venus Opal Reese. So we're talking a lot about financial therapy. So we're doing, we might take a couple of little questions, we might read a little section of the book. But what I tend to do is I'll take the topics from that book and then I'll create something that's more embodied experience for people, so they begin to understand it and they look at their own personal experience. They look at how it shows up in their family, they look at how it shows up in society. How does racism play a part? How does patriarchy play a part? So it's really broken down for people. So they really understand what's going on. So it's not just about reading a book. Okay, so next time you're reading something, think about that. Am I really kidding myself thinking that I've actually done this work when I haven't really done the work? All I've done is just read a book and collected information, because it's very different. Okay, it's very different. If anyone's interested, actually, if you want to join the Sacred Sister Sanctuary, where we're doing the financial therapy, you can find that. Click the link in my bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. How it currently works is that two Thursdays in the month, we actually pluck out stuff out of the book, and I'll share. We'll share as a group, and I'll teach and stuff like that twice a month. Then the second Thursday of the month, we do it's an open circle, so you can bring whatever's going on in your life. Sometimes we do read the 12 spiritual laws of abundance, so we can relate it to that. But it's an open circle, so people can come and you can just share on whatever's going on for you, and we get feedback. I'll give feedback and support and whatever. And then on the fourth Thursday of the month, we do like a co-working session. So people can really sit down and think about, okay, I've been avoiding doing my paperwork, I've been avoiding open letters, I've been avoiding applying for this job or that job. All of the practical things to do around financial therapy, we do that on the fourth fourth Thursday of the month. So if you're interested in joining the community, you can click the link in my bio and join me there. So Lydia's put journal reflections really help. Exactly. Journal reflections really help, because then you start to, whatever's unconscious, you bring it into the conscious. Okay, whatever's unconscious, you bring it into the conscious. So journal reflections are a huge part of it. So having the ladies do that work, and then me sharing my experience, my personal experience, my lived experience, plus my professional experience as a therapist, it gives the group a much deeper understanding as to what's going on. Okay, so when we're talking about healing, when we're talking about thinking about the steps and the habits and the boundaries and all of that stuff that creates the process, okay, think about how deep you're actually going as part of it. And it's also about, it's not always about going deep all the time, because that can be exhausting. It's about also checking in with yourself. What can I manage today? What's my bandwidth at the moment? What season am I in at the moment? I've been talking a lot about being in a season of solitude. I'm in a season of solitude at the moment, because I feel like, being 54, menopausal, I can't be running up and down like I used to be running up and down. I can't be doing that anymore. So my healing process has to look very different than it did 5 years ago, and that is the whole point of me doing the the racial wellness retreat next week, because it's not just for people that want to start. If you want to start, it's a good place to kind of get the basics together. But it's also if you've been on this journey for a while and you need a reset. Okay, you need a reset. If you need a reset, then you know, because you need to check in with what season you're in at the moment, and what's going on for you, what's happening for you currently, what's going on in your relationships, what's going on at work, what's going on in your family, and is your self-care in alignment with that? You know, is your self-care in alignment with that? So somebody's saying 54, wow, you look incredible. Do you know what? A lot of times people say, I don't believe, I've had people demand to see my driving license. I don't believe that I'm 55. I'm going to be 55 in November. People don't believe that I am as old as I am. But yes, and my secret is so many different things. That's a whole nother live stream. Maybe I'll do another live stream on you know, what I do. But it's a combination of just staying aware to what my needs are. You know, I eat a lot of sea moss. You know, I eat sea moss. I have sea moss tea for breakfast, and yeah, I'm vegan. I've been vegan for years. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But anyway, this is all part of my healing process. It's not just about what I talk about in therapy. It's not just about what I do in my recovery meetings. It's not just about what I do with my journaling and all of that sort of stuff. It's also about what I eat. It's also about what I ingest in terms of not just the stuff that I'm eating, but also what I'm ingesting in my brain. You know, what I'm looking at on social media, what I'm watching on Netflix or whatever it is. All of that stuff is going to have an impact on what I'm doing. You know, and I have to take care of myself in a different way. And also, as a therapist, in order for me to show up, you know, for my clients and to show up for those that look to me for support and guidance, you know, I need to make sure I'm taking care of myself. You know, because the work that I do with my client, you know, I do a lot. I'm a trauma therapist. I work with a lot of trauma. That means I'm listening to a lot of stuff. I'm listening to a lot of things that are disturbing. That means, you know, people are coming to me to, you know, to unpack, you know, and I'm here to unpack it. But in order for me to show up for my clients and for me to show up as a parent as well, because I've got a teenager, I need to look after myself, you know. That means the steps and the processes, the habits and the boundaries that I need to be setting have to be specific, and I have to keep checking in with myself to make sure that what I'm doing is in alignment with how I'm feeling, with where I am. Okay, so that is healing. Okay, healing is the process, the practice, the boundaries, the steps, the habits, all that kind of stuff. The growth, okay, the growth part of it is the shifts, the internal shifts that happen as a result of the habits. Okay, the growth is what happens after you're doing the healing practices. So some examples of the shifts are, let me just check in my notes, are the changes in thought. Okay, when you're doing your healing work, the growth part of it is you're not going to be thinking the same, because you're, like I was saying before, your unconscious thinking and behavior then becomes conscious. And what happens when you're in a group setting, this is the reason why working in groups is good, because when you're talking about stuff, it brings you out of isolation. Other people identify, and you know, you also don't think you're going mad. The amount of times I've heard people say, "Oh my gosh, I didn't really want to say that out loud before because I thought it was just me. I didn't think anybody else felt the same," and all the rest of it. But when you're talking about this stuff in a group setting, okay, you then begin to understand that you're not on your own, and that you can begin to identify. And when I hear people say things in a group, you know, as a therapist, I can feed back to them, you know, have you thought about it from that angle, or have you thought about it from this space, or have you, you know, is that a result of you know, systems of oppression? Have you internalized something either from somebody else or socially? Have you internalized that? That is an example of what racial wellness is. You're not just looking at it as within the sense of okay, well, this is just how I think. You're looking at it within the sense of, okay, well, you know, did my parents tell me that, and am I believing something about myself that's not true? Or, you know, when you think about it socially, it's like, okay, have I internalized something? Is that internalized racism that's made me think like that? Is it internalized capitalism that makes me think like that? Is it internalized misogyny that makes me think like that? You know, so when we talk about racial wellness, we talk about it within the context of systems of oppression. It's not just about what happened between you and your family in your past, and that within that sense. Okay, we have to open it up. So then the self-care and the habits that you choose, the boundaries that you set, the steps that you take as part of your healing journey, then become much more, what's the word I'm looking for? More of a holistic approach, because you're incorporating all the other things as well. So when you think about the growth again, just going back to what I was saying about growth, you know, this is your changes in thought, the changes happen in your behavior. Okay, as a result of your healing practice, the growth is you're going to be thinking differently, you're going to be behaving differently, because you have more awareness, you've got more self-awareness about what's going on, you have more awareness around how you show up in relationships. Okay, you have more of awareness around how you treat yourself, how you think about yourself, how you perceive yourself as a black woman. All of that stuff changes, okay, when you do your healing work, your practices, and then the growth is the result. I no longer think this about myself, okay? I'm no longer going to tolerate that behavior with X, Y, and Z, because you understand more. The healing habits that you've done in the past have become, and the outcome now is your growth. I am now, you've kind of stepped into a different identity. Okay, your identity as a black woman has become something different because of it. But it happens. It takes time to do this work. Let me just say this as well. There's no quick fix. Okay, there's no quick fix. A quick fix in doing this healing work. The growth does not happen overnight. You know, the only reason that I've got to the state where I am now, where I'm a lot more confident in myself, and all the rest of it, is because, you know, I've been in therapy since 2009. I've been doing this work. I've been in recovery. You know, I've been in therapy, and I've also, you know, obviously training as a therapist as well. That changes all of that as well. And I'm still, you know, I still have you know, I'm still doing my therapy work, because there's, you know, there's layers that need to come off, and I'm learning stuff all the time. I'm learning stuff all the time. So Lioness Shah is saying it's an ongoing journey. Exactly. It's an ongoing journey of healing. The difference being, okay, the difference being is that I have a different relationship with myself, and I have a different relationship with others. I have a different relationship with work. I have a different relationship with spirituality. I have a different relationship with so many different things. I have a different relationship with so many different things, and I can show up for myself a lot more. I can show up for myself as a parent as well, in different ways. I show up for myself very differently, because I have taken those little baby steps. You know, over the years I've taken those little baby steps. Don't let anybody you know, feed you any fantasy that, oh yeah, you know, we can do this, and you know, you're going to be sweet in you know, in with 12-week course or whatever. If you're doing your healing work, okay, it's going to take time, and it's going to take baby steps, and you need a community in order to do it. You need a community, and you need guts, and you need courage. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen, you know, but it can be done. It can be done. Okay, you've just got to be willing to actually take the first. Just got to be willing to do it. You know. So if you're willing to start doing the work, if you've been on the healing path already, and you're ready to, you know, dive a little bit deeper, do a little reset, you know, you can join me next week for the racial wellness half day retreat next week. It's in Brixton. Okay, so £30 versus £60. If you're interested in joining me for that, you can click the link in my bio, go to heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. That's heal.juneallen.net. So that's it for today. So I hope that's given you a bit more of an understanding as to the difference between healing and growth. Okay, healing and growth are they're kind of interlinked, but if you want to have growth, you need to do the healing, you need to do the practice, you need to do the boundaries, you need to do all of that stuff. Okay, so take your time. Okay, baby steps, keep showing up, keep asking for help, keep exploring, keep talking about it, keep sharing about it, keep taking the risks, and keep doing it until you find a space that feels comfortable for you. A lot of people give up. A lot of people give up because they're like, oh no, I don't like that therapist, or I didn't like that group, or what, I don't like that person. You know, if you're in a space and it's not working for you, this is another thing that's important about the healing process, is you get to a certain level and it stops working for you. It's not because there's anything wrong with that particular group or that therapist or that person. It might be that you've changed so much that you need to level up. You need to level up. I've had to do that several times in my in my journey. But at the time, I was thinking, oh, maybe something's wrong with something's going on. Like I don't know what's happening. Things are not working like they used to. But it's because I hadn't leveled up. That's why I hadn't reevaluated my practice, my habits, all of that kind of stuff. I hadn't reevaluated it. And now I do all the time. I do it more regularly now. I check in with myself. Is this therapist relationship working for me? Is this group still working for me? Is this thing that I'm doing here working for me? Is the and then I level up. So I'm always learning. I'm always growing. I'm always on the healing journey. And the more that I do that for myself, personally and professionally, I'm able to show up for my clients in a much more authentic way. One of the reasons why I'm so knowledgeable about what I do is because I'm not just reading books and working with my clients from my professional intellect. I am actually I'm on the ground getting my hands dirty. I'm on the ground getting my hands dirty. I'm doing my own personal work. I'm getting in the trenches with my own trauma work. And that means I'm able to show up for my clients in a much deeper way. And a lot of people tell me that's one of the reasons why they like working with me, because I'm not just talking from my head as a therapist. I'm talking from my personal experience, my lived experience of getting in the trenches. And that's why people like working with me. So, I've also got spots work. If you want to work with me one to one, as I said, if you want to work with me in the financial therapy, the sacred sister sanctuary space, there's that as well. So if you want to work with me in any capacity in that sense, you'll find all the information at the link in my bio. Go to heal.juneallen.net. That's it for today. Again, 12 midnight tonight is the last. The Easter offer will be finished. Okay, so if you want to get your tickets, £30 versus £60. Jump on the link and you can get your tickets there. Hopefully I will see you next Saturday. All right, have an amazing weekend, however you choose to spend it. I know it's a long weekend here, we've got Easter. So and I will see you next time. I'm going to be doing a lot more live streams. Actually, I kind of slowed down a bit, but yeah, I forgot how much I enjoy doing them. So yeah, you'll see me more next week. All right, take care everyone, and I'll see you next time. Take care, bye.